My name is Gretchen McPherson, and I'm taking EDM 310 at University of South Alabama. I'm going to be honest. When I first encountered this class, I figured that I couldn't pass it, and I was just going to drop it. I was familiar with the cell phone, and I had just learned how to start texting, so I really thought I was up on what I needed to do. As far as the computer, I had Facebook, I had email. What else did I need? Whenever I decided to go back to school and get recertified in teaching, and I was introduced to EDM 310, like I said, I figured I'd fail. But Dr. Strange is correct. If you get on the computer and you just play, and you make mistakes, and you learn what to do and what not to do, you can succeed just like I did. I have come very, very far since I first started this class, and I have Dr. Strange and myself to thank for that. What I wanted to share with you is the top 10 technology habits that I'm going to incorporate into my classroom. I basically want to teach my students everything that I've learned in EDM 310. I'm going to list them in no particular. Number 1, I want to have a class blog, and I'd like to continue to maintain my professional blog. This is a way for me to share my experiences as a teacher and to stay connected with other teachers throughout my career. The children benefit by having an authentic audience. There's nothing like receiving feedback whenever you write your own writing. Kids are really conscious about how they need to use grammar and correct they need to be when they see that adults from around the world and their family are seeing their blogs. It also holds students accountable, and it directly shows their writing. It showcases what we're doing in the classroom, and they can share their experiences. And one that you'll hear a lot is it helps students explore creativity, which according to Sir Ken Robinson is very important in the classroom. The second thing I'd like to share with my students is going to be making a video with iMovie or a Windows compatible application and using YouTube to put them in the class blog. I have really relished the fun of making movies, putting clips together, putting in sound effects and music, and uploading it to YouTube. It's a fun experience, and the children will absolutely have a great time. In order to make this come true, I'm going to talk to my principal about either having a green screen or painting a corner of my room green. At the beginning of the year, I want to take a picture of every one of my students with my camera from the chest up with a smile, and then in the goofiest position they want to be in. I'm going to incorporate those pictures into our class projects, which I'm going to explore in another number that I'm going to use with my students. Number 1, whenever students make videos with iMovie, they learn how to write scripts in the order of the story or the order of the information or whatever they're doing. They learn how to use special effects and how they look and sound on camera. And one important thing is they learn to be collaborative with their other classmates. They can also showcase their interests, learning, and the mastery of their learning. The biggest thing is for them to have fun, be creative. And that's where I also explained it helps students explore creativity. Like I said, you'll hear that a lot. Making podcasts using Audacity for the class blog is awesome. Not only do the students get to incorporate their parents into their learning, in other words, parents can access their movies and their podcasts on the computer. That way they can be involved in student learning. They can be interactive. And again, it encourages creativity and collaboration. To make podcasts, as I and my classmates learned, is kind of tough. You have to know what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, and how to add everything together and layer it to make it really smooth. Also, whenever students make podcasts, they get to learn about the order of media and manipulating tech to make the sounds and the music and things they need to put on podcasts to make it a positive experience. I loved listening to the podcasts of the other classes in other schools. I really enjoyed that. It also showcases their interest and learning and the mastery of it. Number 4. I want to teach my students how to use Digo or Delicious, some sort of bookmarking application, and how to use them to develop a PLN. It's nice when you can sit down at the computer and you see something quick and you would like to explore it, but you don't have time, so you just bookmark it. And when there's time, you can come back and check it out and see if there's certain aspects of it you want to keep or you don't want to keep, or if it's even a worthwhile website at all. In teaching these students how to use Digo, you also teach them that it needs to be maintained throughout the years. Their PLN needs to be maintained as they grow older. They can add to it or take from it according to what their needs are. And also, students can explore their interests and resources at their fingertips in their learning. It's a quick way to, like I said, record now and check and decide later. So it's sort of a put it in the basket until I can figure out if I want it kind of deal, which is very good for students and for teachers. I have my own Diggo and I use it all the time. Number 5, teach student to make wordles. Now wordles, you may think, oh, it's just, words that have been grouped in colors and shapes and things. But that's exactly it. It takes a limited amount of words and lets a student create how he or she wants to, how they want to display it on their blog. It makes them want to write creatively because, using more creative or descriptive words really stand out and sort of an in-your-face idea. And kids really like that. It teaches media manipulation and display in various forms. You see words all different colors and shapes. The upper grades can actually use it to identify their things or their space if they want to. They can put their interest in, in a little story that they like, or just list their interest in and make it into a wordle. And then every word in that wordle is an interest of theirs or something they like. So it just in a glance, it tells a little bit about your students. And again, wordles encourage creativity. Number 6, I want to have a class Twitter and teach my students how it works. One advantage is they can use it to find quick resources for their PLN. That's what I do every day as I get on the computer and I look for resources to copy onto my PLN. Students can share quick thoughts about their daily activities. They can get on Twitter and say something quick about the activity they just did. They can rate it, whether they liked it or they didn't. That way the teacher can check the Twitters on hers if they put the correct hashtag back to her Twitter, and she can kind of see what students are liking, what they're doing, and she can actually modify her assignments to sort of, help students either if they need help or, encourage the ones who don't need help and who understand Twitter and the way it works. They can also use it as a part of information search or a checkoff list. You can create activities where in Twitter you look up things or you find certain aspects or you ask other people questions and you can get a quick response, or you can actually fill in graphs and things depending on the subjects people are talking about or the lists that come about. You can use that quick information for all kinds of things in your class, and students love to look it up. They love to look at their Twitter. Number 7, I would like to incorporate the web into my project assignments. That means that I want to show them how to create links. I want to use how to use the web for research or in-depth knowledge to build layers of information, and how to use multimedia in collaboration. If a certain group of kids are doing a project and you tell them they need something on the web, they can go to their Twitter, look up resources, they can have an interactive poster, they can come up with quizzes for their classmates and things. They just need to be able to incorporate those things into the project. And the more that they know how to use the technology, the better their information and their presentation and their projects will be. Number 8, I want to teach students to use Skype. This exposes students to professionals, experts, role models, all kinds of things like that, possible mentors. That's a very good use of it, is you can tap into, an expert, a doctor somewhere that you only see on television or you wouldn't really have face-to-face contact with, but the kids can really get an idea of what it's like to speak to an expert and ask those questions. They also get to observe dialogue skills, the skills of speaking, then listening carefully, and responding and having a two-way conversation with a professional. They also get to explore and enjoy the advancements of technology. You can explain that this is one of the good things about being able to speak to someone on camera, is they get that benefit without having to be there face-to-face. Number 9, one I really look forward to is planning a virtual field trip and using the green screen to make postcards and souvenirs. That's why I wanted to take pictures of my students from the chest up and in a funny pose, because I can use green screen to say, give them a postcard of them standing on top of the pyramids or in the Colosseum or, somewhere like that. My students may not ever get to travel. This way they can feel that they have. I want to link to other classes and school blogs from various places around the world with frequent response through video and writing. There is nothing like seeing two classrooms that are blogging back and forth and actually, responding to each other's blogs. Kids get to learn about other people and other places and lives around the world. They get to see what is different and what is the same, and you can do comparison and contrast. And both groups of students actually learn to interact, respond, and have a real audience that gives real feedback. Those are the top 10 things that I like to do in my class. Thank you so much, Dr. Strange.